Morning, everybody. Alex here. We just finished a load up here in Weberville, Michigan, and Aldi. We just delivered a bunch of Tyson beef. I figured I'd get on and show you guys like truck I drive, the trailer, just to kind of give you an idea what it is. I know most of you guys that do drive trucks already, you know. For those who don't, it's nothing too special. It's a 2019 Freightliner Cascadia P2, newer design. This one's been out for a couple years already since they did the redesign. Pretty sharp looking on the outside. I can't say much for the inside. They're kind of built like a very base model truck inside, just because that's what it is. Nothing crazy. It gets the job done. Gets excellent fuel mileage for how big it is. Actually, a matter of fact, despite having a 15-liter engine, going down I-80, getting about 10.5 miles to the gallon with 41,000 pounds in the truck. That's pretty dang good. Peterbilt I had before did pretty well at 9.6, 9.8 with that same kind of weight. But even though it had a smaller engine, supposedly to get better fuel mileage, but this one still outdoes it. I chalk it up to the great aerodynamics on there and the Detroit drivetrain, which you can't really mess with a Detroit drivetrain, despite everybody loving their Cummins engines. They do have their downfalls. But anyway, we run, of course, 22.5 steers on Michelin X tires. I got the flat black covers on there, which isn't too bad. We got dual 100-gallon tanks. Gets us pretty far, about 1,600 miles per full fill-up. Pretty large depth tank, which I was happy about. I only fill that tank up once every 2 full diesel tanks, about 2,500 miles or so, which is pretty cool. Now, up here on the rear, nothing too special. I run real chains, not trains, Jesus. Real chains for the drives. I got cables for the trailer and the toolbox, which I rarely put on. We actually have nice rubber air hoses. I really like these. The plastic ones tend to snap easy in the cold, which happened to me once, and actually caused me to make a run to the truck stop from a customer, because I was early in my trucking job career and didn't keep extra hoses on the truck, so I had to go leave and go pick some up and come back and fix them there. Luckily, I carry a toolbox with me. It's like a 60-piece set from Walmart, which isn't as cool as my mechanic set at home, but it gets the job done out here. All the very basic stuff. And on the rear here, on the drives, 2 drive axles, we do, here we go. We have a set of super singles we run on 22.5 rims, I think about 14 wide. They actually work pretty good. The Michelin X2s, good fuel mileage. They put them on there for extra payload, along with the fuel mileage. And also, I mean, they ride really good. They're like balloon tires, so they pretty much ride better than duals. I know everybody prefers duals or super singles. It all depends what you do and where you're at. I like super singles. They ride nice even when you're empty. They grip relatively well in bad weather, as long as they're not bald. But yeah, that's just my personal preference. I really do like them. That's pretty much all I can say about them. I've had no blowouts also with super singles. 4 years here, no issues at all, man. I've had no blowouts, not even on my steers, not blowouts. You just, the simple recipe to that is just take care of your tires. Keep the air pressure up where it's supposed to be. Pre-trip inspection every day. Go around, double check your tires, make sure everything's good, nothing's in the tread. That's pretty much it, you know, just very basic maintenance. Now, the trucks, of course, they all ride on air suspension on the rear. You do get an option of front air suspension if you're like a lease purchase operator, or you're buying one from Freightliner from the dealer. Most manufacturers do offer that. Softer ride, a little easier on the components and the cargo, and it's not so rough for you empty or loaded going down the highway, so you're not as stressed at the end of the day. We do have a Thermo King APU. It's a little teeny diesel pony motor with an alternator to keep the batteries charged up on the truck when you're parked. Also, instead of running the big engine that uses about a gallon of diesel per hour just idling, this little thing uses a quarter gallon of diesel per hour. It also runs the AC unit, and that thing blows pretty cold. I really do enjoy it. It can freeze you out even in the hottest of weather. I had a Rigmaster before that couldn't really do anything for itself, which pretty much just sat there looking good on the side of the truck. The heater on this, it is actually a diesel heater, Webasto, under the bunk, which I like having it separate from the Thermo King system, just because if something breaks on the Thermo King, I still have an operational diesel heater, which is nice, besides using massive blankets I keep on the truck for cold weather. It works really good, man. It'll heat you up. One good thing, I know it was good because I was in Wyoming once in -14 temperatures, just outside Cheyenne in the Sat Brothers, and I had the diesel heater on, and I woke up in the morning to get going, and it was 82 degrees inside the bunk and still -14 outside. I didn't realize it, and I jumped up and put my feet on the floor. It felt like they froze to the floor because I didn't know it was still that cold outside. That's how comfortable I was and how powerful that heater was. It was pretty cool. Now, typical thing we do, I mean, if the trailer was off, I'd show more underneath, but we do have a fifth wheel plate right there, and a kingpin slides into these locking jaws in order to hook and attach the trailer to the truck. That's pretty much what's holding your 40 some odd thousand load onto the back of the truck, is this little kingpin. Pretty strong for what it is. Now, with the trailer, now, most of the models are utilities that this who I drive for, obviously you can see it in the background, uses for their trailers. We have Carrier 7500 X4 reefer units, which run pretty good. Mine's actually running a pre-trip right now because I'm gonna go pick up ice cream. It's got to be set at -20, but I want to make sure this reefer is good to go, and if anything happens down the road, I have a reason to back me up why it broke down, because I did a pre-trip and it was running great before I went to go pick up the load. So it's always a safety precaution. Always pre-trip your reefer, no matter what you do. But it works pretty good. We have settings for pretty much any product we haul, which is cool, from produce, meat, like chicken, you know, beef, pork, that stuff. They're usually around a 28-degree range. Produce, of course, dairy, cheese. Like this one's on ice cream mode, which is specific for ice cream. We do have like miscellaneous frozen products and things like that. Either stop, start, or continuous run, whatever the customer decides to do when their product needs to be kept at. These trailers, I mean, there's really nothing too crazy about them. I mean, they're typical semi-truck trailers. We do have the skirts. They're very well built. They're not like some like cheap knockoff brand or something. They're relatively good. Yeah, the fuel skirts here, a couple % fuel mileage increase. We do get, which is pretty cool, just like the trucks, which I failed to mention, is we get a right way gauge. So that right there, behind that door, is a dial, and that pretty much changes pounds per square inch and air pressure to a weight readout on a gauge. So that way we know how much weight is sitting on these tandems, which are also super singles, by the way. Same reason on the trailer as the trucks have them, for fuel mileage, payload capacity, and ride. These tires actually are been pretty reliable too. I've had one blowout in 4 years on a trailer, and I attribute that to running through Arizona and New Mexico in 118 to 122 degree heat for like 11 hours. That kind of heat cycling will ruin tires over time, and I think at that point it was just that time for that tire to go. But anyway, back to the right way. I have them on the truck too, which is cool because I rarely have to cat scale. The only time I really do is when I'm at a customer that happens to really load up the trailer, which happens to be meat loads, like JBS, National Beef, all those guys, they load a little heavy. So that's usually when I run to a cat scale if my gauges look a little too close to call it good just to head down the highway. But otherwise, I look at the gauges, they're all set up. I try to roll through a yard when I can, especially when I'm heavy, to just double check the gauges, calibrate them, and get rolling down the road. So that way the next driver does have a decently calibrated trailer, so they don't have to worry about any weight differences. Of course, the trailers here, they're all air ride suspension. I don't know if anybody can see that. Got airbags. These newer models we run, anything newer than 2015 runs disc brakes on them, which is a night and day difference compared to a drum brake trailer. It really does, especially on downgrades. Cold weather, you can set the brakes, they're not going to freeze up on you, which is pretty cool. Unlike the drum brakes in cold weather, they'll freeze up on you. It's a little hard to lock them up in the morning when you park. But yeah, there's nothing too crazy. We also have these short skirts on the trucks. We used to have the massive ones that would stick out about 5 or 6 feet from the back of the trailer, which is illegal in Canada because of the length laws, but in the US you're allowed to have that. But we went with the short skirts with utility as a project. The new ones don't really have them. A lot of them still have these. Most of them are broken off already, sadly, because sometimes drivers forget to fold them in, or they don't pay attention to what's behind the trailer before they back up. Which also, walk behind your trailer before you back it up anytime. You never know what's behind you. You know, that's 75 feet from your driver's seat to the back. You don't know what's back there. But those are supposed to give about another 1 or 2%, maybe 3% of aerodynamic efficiency increase, which when you think about it, it's about a 5% total between the skirts and the tails. And yeah, it may not be much for like a solo guy running. Over the year, it's maybe $1,500 to $2,000 a year savings in fuel, which, I mean, savings is savings when you're running a truck. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do to it. If you save, you save, as long as it's safe to do so. But when you have a large fleet, like here at Prime, about 8,500 drivers in their trucks, that 5% increase, or $1,500 to $2,000 per truck, average savings spread across 8,500 trucks, you're looking at a really good chunk of change that you can either reinvest into the company, which most of the stuff is. That's why our equipment is pretty new, replaced ever so often. A truck every 3 to 4 years on average is turned in and a new one's brought into the company fleet, or a trailer every like maybe 5 years at most. I'll see one before it has to be brought in and it gets refurbished and resold, which is a pretty good way of recouping your investment. So when you think about that overall savings year to year with such a massive fleet, that is pretty cool. But there's not too much. The reefer, I don't know if you guys ever seen one on the inside, but it's nothing too crazy. Let me pop this door open real quick. Don't mind the dirtiness. I still have to leave to go get it cleaned out, but that's pretty much it right there. There's your chute. Cold air comes here and it drops down behind the door and it goes back up underneath these grooves right here. It goes up underneath the pallets and gets sucked back in and recirculated. This is a closed system on here, so once the door is shut, the whole reefer system is self-contained. Let me get this back on there. It is self-contained, so that way your product in there is safe and out of the environmental hazards. Snow, sleet, rain, dust, dirt, anything, it's pretty sealed off and good. Really have no issues with anything. It's very resistant to like sun, any kind of heat. Yeah, because I mean, it really does. It's like a little, what I say, like a Yeti cooler, man. It has about 3.5 inches of insulation all around. It's just a giant ice box with a refrigerator attached to it, which is pretty cool. But we do clean them for food safety. So the reason why it's dirty is we just got unloaded. I haven't got it washed yet. But we do wash them. We do get them cleaned out, so that way any food product that ends up in the stores or the warehouse is clean and not susceptible to any kind of contamination, which is not good. That's a big part of the food safety rules out here to follow, is to make sure that your product in the supply chain that gets to the store is safe for you guys to consume and isn't contaminated. Even by truck trailers, that's a big thing too, not just from the factory that you hear on the news getting all sorts of stuff bad with the food. We touch the food all the time, not literally, but figuratively, pretty much, is that once it goes in our trailers, it's in our hands, and it's our job to make sure it's safe and gets to its location clean and safe for consumption. Otherwise, there's nothing too crazy about the trailer. Of course, we have our lights up top, down at bottom, all LEDs on here, very efficient. The truck, the headlights, I don't have the LED set up like the upscale models of the Cascadia do, just because it's a company truck. It's easier to maintain. You have to remember there's a ton of these company trucks, about a little over 2,000 of us. So maintenance on that kind of fleet-wide thing is all about cost. It doesn't mean you have to be cheap. So the truck's, you know, been really reliable, man. I really do enjoy it. It's been a nice truck. I personally am a Pete person, but the Cascadia, it has been a good truck to me. I can see why fleets run them. I just wish some fleets would actually get decent models for the drivers, because we do have, you know, color match skirts. The bumper's great, but it makes it easier to replace, especially when a deer strikes it. We got the deer guard up front. I like the hood mirrors. Those make it real nice to see everybody. We do have like a total of 7 mirrors on the truck also. So yeah, they say we have blind spots, but we really don't if your mirrors are adjusted properly and you're paying attention to what's going on. There's no excuse to not see anything in a semi-truck this big with these massive mirrors like this. Ooh, I gotta shut off the reefer. It's done at this pre-trip, so I gotta go get it washed, so I don't want it -20 when the guys are trying to spray water in it. That'll instantly freeze it up. But anyway, that pretty much concludes my exterior kind of walk around of it. There's nothing too much to it. You'll see these trucks rolling down the road. If you ever see me parked, feel free to walk up to me and ask any question you want. That's what I'm here for. I don't mind talking to anybody or everybody out here on the road. It's pretty fun to do, and just kind of get to know people as I travel around the US doing this stuff. But anyways, I'll come up with more videos later on when I get the itch to do one. But for those of you who have clicked my video, watched, thank you. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you want to keep getting updates on what's going on. And also follow me on Instagram. Same name as my YouTube. It's Redondo_beach_trucker. On there I do post stuff, a lot of cooking, car repair stuff when I'm on home time, because, you know, I don't live in this thing 24/7. I do have a very normal life outside of this job. So on there you'll see those extra activities I do when I'm home, which is pretty cool. It's fun. I hope you guys would enjoy it. But again, thank you so much, and enjoy your day, guys.